All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here tonight for our Infinity Family Session, which is titled Life After Uplift. We are excited to have a few of our Infinity alums join us tonight to share about their college experience so far, especially as they're navigating COVID-19 and a pandemic, and then just some words of advice that they have to share with our current Infinity families.
Muy buenas tardes todos. Hoy, el día de hoy es una junta de los graduados de Infinity que vienen a darles consejos de cómo ellos navegan su experiencia en la universidad y especialmente en la pandemia.
So at this time, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Fuller, our Dean of College Prep.
Perfect, thank you. Sorry about that. Perfect, thank you, Robert. My name is Jeffrey Fuller. I'm the Dean of College Prep at Infinity High School. I just wanted to say thank you to the parents for showing up and listening to our terrific and wonderful alums. And then as well, thank you again to our alums for their dedication. Know that they have work and school and everything else to get through. So it's really great to see everyone, and I hope you look forward to seeing these alums just as much as we all are.
Este es el encargado de la escuela Infinity, es el Dr. Fuller. Les agradece por estar aquí esta noche y especialmente a los alumnos de Infinity, que está muy agradecido que estén aquí para dar consejos sobre cómo ellos manejan la escuela.
The next question. All right, so to our panelists, and for each of these questions, just keep in mind that everyone does not have to answer, answer as you feel led to. It's great when we get multiple responses right because it provides, different perspectives, but don't feel like you have to, but jump.
As well as the financial ability for me to go to school. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I got from Infinity. It's obviously different for every person, but it's I think the personal experiences and personal questions you get are really what makes it different.
I agree with Dania. I think our support system at least for me, Infinity was really great. Like our TC team and teachers, they were all there to help me make my decisions. And personally, my parents were a little strict on me staying in town. And so I had help with that. Like whether that was to talk to my parents, even if it still didn't work out, they still helped out a lot. But yeah, it does it's different based on person to person, and but I think we have a great support system at Infinity, and they're really helpful with whatever you need help with, and so yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Infinity really
cultures and things of that nature, and it can be a really, really big culture shock, and that was my experience the first semester. I was pretty, I don't know, it was really weird. I restarted my life essentially is how I felt. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way about their colleges if they go completely else another part of the world. It helps a lot to just be uncomfortable.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, absolutely. You have to really learn how to embrace discomfort and, navigating situations that are not easy and that are not familiar, because like you said, that's, probably one of the main ways to be able to grow, evolve, and settle into a new space. Again, that looks very different, and it's comprised of so many different elements. So thank you for sharing that, Xavier. My other question was to Sarah. You mentioned, starting off in a virtual environment, being someone that is quite social and, really wanting to be involved and really liking to connect with people. How have you been able to adjust? Because, we know that different things are happening right now. Each week, things are changing with regards to COVID protocol and what we are going to be able to do a month from now versus 6 months from now. But if there is, another semester where you are virtual again, tell us a little bit about how you were able to adapt, again, given how much of a socialite you are.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm very social. I like to talk to people. I like to be participating in things always. I like to keep a busy lifestyle. But when COVID happened, it was like, I was just home. I was stuck home and not being able to do anything.
Like you said, there's so many uncertainties and there's so many thoughts that can go through your head, especially when you're in the environment. And you're just like, why, why am I here sometimes? And I'm really far away, only to be in my room, doing online classes sometimes. But I would say this experience has been something that I'm very grateful for. And I know it is something that I will look back on for the rest of my life, just because, like Xavier, I have been out of my comfort zone multiple times. And it's really taught me just who I am as a person, and also like how I want to help other people and be able to understand themselves as well. So I would really just say that although this time is hard, everybody is going through it, and although that may not be the most encouraging, sometimes that can be a little hard to think about, but because everybody's going through it, that there will be other people that you can talk to and other people who are able to empathize with you and understand just what you're going through. So there's always going to be people that you can reach out to. So it's something that I would say.
Thank you, Kaylee.
I think one of the best things that I could have that I did was in this pandemic. I think one of the best things you can do is try to open your eyes to the world. I think normally in our lives we get really, really busy and we say, oh, I want to do this and this and this. I have this plan for
I think, speaking from whether college should be something that you pursue or something that your children should pursue, I would say it is something that you should really, really consider, especially if your child has no idea what they want to do. It's a time for them to not only discover what their future career is going to be like, but also discover themselves, and also kind of put them out of their comfort zone, because that's something that we're going to experience a lot later in life. So that's something that I think, as well as college is a time for us to kind of just explore different avenues in terms of, like, for me, in becoming a social worker, picking that major, I would have never thought about that if I hadn't come here and opened my eyes and had been open to the opportunity to do so. So I would say it definitely is a great way for us to go from being a high schooler to being in your home all the time to a different environment that's allows you a little bit more freedom and a little bit more responsibility that will help you in the future, for sure. So yeah.
That's a great point, Kaylee. I think I've heard so many times, I think Ms. Whitley and Dr. Fuller would agree. I've heard from so many students and families that they worry about starting college without a specific career path in mind because they feel like maybe it'll be a waste of money. Why am I going if I don't know what I want to do? But I think pretty much everyone I know like used college as a time of self-discovery to figure out what they want to do, and you learn so much that first year and you change and you grow. So thanks for sharing that.
And I think it's not only about the career things, right? It's like, I think one of the biggest things is like,
I think that's a really, hi everyone, I work with the Road to College and Career team, and I think that's a really good question that I can
reading again and playing the piano. And so those things have been really helping me. But it was hard at first, but I just had to find ways to see what does help me and, like give myself break times and do all of that.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, I think even no matter what environment that we're in, whether we're in school, whether we're in a career, whether we're at home, like, this has been something that is new for all of us. And so navigating what COVID is how it impacts you and how you're going to evolve your situation and still continue to move forward is very critical. So appreciate you sharing that. That kind of segues into our second to last question. It is also related to COVID. It's a little bit more general, if you will, but what would you tell other students who are feeling discouraged or unmotivated about, transitioning to college right now? What piece of advice could you give them? What maybe words of encouragement would you offer to someone to help them make the decision to continue to pursue the college trajectory, given all the uncertainty and the unknowns right now?
Like you said, there's so many uncertainties and there's so many thoughts that can go through your head, especially when you're in the environment. And you're just like, why, why am I here sometimes? And I'm really far away only to be in my room, doing online classes sometimes. But I would say this experience has been something that I'm very grateful for. And I know it is something that I will look back on for the rest of my life, just because, like Xavier, I have been out of my comfort zone multiple times, and it's really taught me just who I am as a person, and also like how I want to help other people and be able to understand themselves as well. So I would really just say that although this time is hard, everybody is going through it, and although that may not be the most encouraging, sometimes that can be a little hard to think about, but because everybody is going through it, that there will be other people that you can talk to and other people who are able to empathize with you and understand just what you're going through. So there's always going to be people that you can reach out to. So it's something that I would say.
Thank you, Kaylee.
I think one of the best things that I could have that I did was in this pandemic. I think one of the best things you can do is try to open your eyes to the world. I think normally in our lives we get really, really busy and we say, oh, I want to do this and this and this. I have this plan for this and I do this on this day. But as we have gotten a lot more time to kind of, sit and think and rest on our hands, I guess, or sit in our hands, I've done a lot of things. I've learned a lot more about the world, how it is. I think that if you look around, like on social media or on Yahoo or in the news or whatever, there's lots of the world to be learned about, Myanmar or hobbies or politics or music or anything really. Like there's so much to learn about the world that you don't usually think about when you're just how you have your goal and you laser towards it and that's it. But I think it can be really helpful to opening your mind about, well, maybe I'm not the center of the world and there's other things that go around that also interest you or also happen and they matter. It's good to keep like a clear head.
Excellent.
So did everybody have a chance to answer that one? Our last one is kind of related, and then we'll definitely give parents time to ask more questions because hopefully you guys have some other follow-up questions. But the last one, just and if you have anything to add, because it's kind of related to what we just talked about, but if you had the opportunity to talk to either parents or scholars who might be second guessing just going to college in general. Since all three of you are enrolled in college, what advice would you give, and what would you say to them about, you know, navigating this conversation about whether or not to actually go to college? Is there anything you would like them to understand from your perspective?
What I think I would say the most is it is hard, you know, like everyone's going through a hard time and it is a new lifestyle to adjust to, but there are a lot of resources out there. There are a lot of people that you could reach out to, whether that's high school itself or like the college that you're going to, or just outside resources as well. There's a lot of people and things that you can reach out to and ask for help. So I think there's, especially that we're like 1 year into COVID now, you know, I think it's much better than how it was like a year before. Like, you know, everybody was just getting used to it. Everybody's much more used to it now. So like there's a lot more people to talk to, whether that's like us or teachers or whoever it is, or like your friends in college already. It's just much better now, and there's a way to like navigate through. So just like don't be scared. Yeah, it is hard, and like, you know, it's easy to say, but I think it'll honestly benefit. You know, it's as you learn new things, you know, it's an experience, and it'll always be beneficial in the future no matter what. So
Thanks, Sarah.
I think speaking from whether college should be something that you pursue or something that your children should pursue, I would say it is something that you should really consider, especially if your child has no idea what they want to do. It's a time for them to not only discover what their future career is going to be like, but also discover themselves, and also kind of put them out of their comfort zone, because that's something that we're, you know, going to experience a lot later in life. So that's something that I think, as well as college is a time for us to kind of just explore different avenues in terms of, like, for me, in becoming a social worker, picking that major, I would have never thought about that if I hadn't come here and opened my eyes and had been open to the opportunity to do so. So I would say it definitely is a great way for us to go from being a high schooler to being in your home all the time to a different environment that's allows you a little bit more freedom and a little bit more responsibility that will help you in the future, for sure. So yeah.
That's a great point, Kaylee. I think I've heard so many times, I think Ms. Whitley and Dr. Fuller would agree. I've heard from so many students and families that they worry about starting college without a specific career path in mind because they feel like maybe it'll be a waste of money. Why am I going if I don't know what I want to do? But I think pretty much everyone I know like used college as a time of self-discovery to figure out what they want to do, and you learn so much that first year, and you change and you grow. So thanks for sharing that.
And I think it's not only about the career things, right? It's like, I think one of the biggest things is like you meet so many different people who go to the same college who are coming from different backgrounds. I feel like you really learn about people, and you really learn about how, oh, this person is doing this thing. I wouldn't want to do that for myself, or I would want to do that for myself. You get to figure out, like, by comparing, not yourself, but comparing other people's actions and how you would feel about those kinds of actions, you figure out who you don't really want to be and who you do want to be, who you aspire to be, saying, oh, I want to be kind, I want to be generous, I want to be all these good things that you should try to be in the world, if that is you, right? That's probably more valuable than the monetary gain by getting a bachelor's degree, even though that's significant. But you learn a lot about personal growth just because of the people that are there, and they're all trying to learn. I think that's way more important. if I could ask something, what are some of the main questions or like hesitancies that you guys as parents are feeling about sending your kids off to college? Or if none at all, then, you know, any main questions or something?
That's a great question. Yeah, we can just open this up to, yeah, if parents have any concerns, or if any other.
I think that's a really, hi everyone, I work with the Road to College and Career team, and I think that's a really good question that I can speak on.
Some questions that I get. Oh, sorry, Camille.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Rose, I was gonna say, I can tell you maybe on this call particularly, there might not be apprehensions, but from a lot of the parents and families that we work with, all of you touch on a lot of those concerns around cost, especially when you're in a virtual learning space, out of state, you know, especially when parents and families may not have attended college out of state themselves, or know families or other relatives in the city or state that you're attending college in. But yeah, I would say if anyone has any thoughts around that, and even more thoughts around that, but then also, Sarah, you started to talk about there's people, you know, there's resources, there's people that you can talk to or get help from. I'm obviously biased, so I know you have people like Miss Whitley and Miss Z on the phone who are here for you, and then you have the alumni success counselors. But can you talk more about your people? Like who are your people, or who are those things that you lean into, or what are some of those hobbies that you do, you know, considering that you're essentially still virtual, and then for those who are on campus, what is that? Who are your people, or who's your tribe?
So as for resources, yes, my high school counselors were still amazing and they were there for me. But also there's a lot of resources that I found on campus itself. They knew a lot of the things that the students are going through, because it was just not, you know, at first I thought it was just personal, me dealing with stuff, but then it's like a lot of the students are going through the same things, whether that was a cost problem or like just mental health or whatever it was. And they provided a lot of resources. And one of my main persons that I reached out to was my advisor. And she was a great help to me, you know, whether that was I actually changed my major from what I started with. I started as a neuroscience major and I actually switched to psych. I never thought I would, but I did. And, you know, I think that was a better decision for me. And she really walked me through it and helped me to like compare the pros and cons between it. But then also she, whenever I was dealing like a hard time with my classes and all, you know, she helped me to like realize what I can do with it and what the path that I can still take. But along with that, there were my other seniors and juniors that were there to help. You know, like we had like this thing called like Fyi Session, and it was just where like, you know, like seniors or juniors would talk to us and help us through help us to like, you know, just talk about our feelings if we had questions on how like classes work, or just in things in general, you know, they would help us. And I think that was a great help from UTD to us. You know, I think they do that for everyone, for all the incoming freshmen. And I think that was one of my major helps. And, you know, like talking to people there, and then I knew people that went there before too. And so talking to all of them, you know, just made me realize that, you know, I'm still capable of doing things, and that I can and like I can get through. And even though things are hard, and that it might not always look positive, that I can get through, because, you know, there are resources out there, there are people out there, and everyone's struggling. So.
So in terms of creating a tribe and having a tribe, I think it's there's a misconception that it's really, really difficult to get a tribe and to have like really, really close friends, but to like be there for you for everything, but I feel like what I've learned a lot about over my time here at Babson is that if you ask for help, usually if it's something small or not something ginormous, like people are more likely than not going to help you because I mean they gain from it as well. They want to make connections and things of that nature as well. Most people are there to help you, whether that be from seniors who are saying, "Oh well, why not?" You know, or college counselors or high school counselors and stuff like that. People, you usually can talk to people about some things. Obviously, you're going to need some tighter friends for more emotional or things or psychological needs. But yeah, I don't think it's as difficult as people make it seem to make a tribe. Obviously, I had 2 years of being on campus and not having COVID around, so that's probably one of my main advantages compared to others. But also in terms of what you were saying about cost is really, really important. And I think that's generally why your student needs to kind of apply to multiple colleges that that would give them a good chance of having higher amounts of financial aid, as well as I think if your child is going to apply to colleges and you're going to help them pay for it or what have you, I think it's a really important thing to have a discussion about saying like, oh, well, this is what I can afford. I want to help you, but you know, I can't make magic happen. So here's what's reasonable for me. And that's all I can really help you with. And I think that your child is 18, they're an adult, they understand how that works. And so it's just a reality that has to be lived with, especially if, yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up about financial aid. I usually, when our scholars become juniors, Miss Whitley and I will start to say to them, you need to start having these conversations with your parents. It's hard. It's not easy when you're a kid and you're not used to talking about money and all that with your family. But I think, and what you said, Xavier, about applying to multiple colleges so you can have options. Like I'll always remember Xavier, and I'm sure you remember as well, sitting in and like drawing on the whiteboard, like comparing your different options. And when you were deciding between Babson and another school, it's helpful to have those different choices so that you can break down all the numbers and just see what's best. So thanks for bringing that up too.
All right, thank you guys so much for sharing. And if there are no other questions in the chat or in the next couple of minutes, I do have one final question for you guys. If you could just share out to leave on a kind of a high note and something to really think about. What is like the most rewarding thing or rewarding experience, or what is the reward or payoff that you have found for yourself for this year?
I think personally for me, the most rewarding thing was just to learn more about myself. You know, like I said before, like, right, I was I was really social. And so this is a really big time for me to, you know, just get time on myself and, you know, like learn more and see what I like to do it just in my own time and, you know, see how I am in like an introvert space. So I got to learn a lot about myself, and whether that was just good things or bad things, you know, it really helped me become a stronger person because I was able to get through a lot of stuff. Because first semester was not the best for me, but I managed to get through, and so I find that to be a big success. But I also learned how to cope with things, and I think balancing things out was a big thing for me, and like, you know, to balance work, school, and my personal life. I think I really got to learn more about that. And I felt like when I was in high school, I was able to manage that really well. But then when I got to college, it's not what it seemed like. But then, you know, now I have a better idea. So I think I got the most rewarding thing for me was to just learn more about myself and help myself to become a better person and a stronger person.
Excellent.
I would say for me, the most rewarding thing was being a lot happier in my environment. My first year was very difficult, especially towards the end. Mentally, I just was not in a good headspace. And in this environment, I just felt very out of place. But this year, I feel a lot more comfortable with the space I'm in. And I also feel a lot more confident in myself and my abilities and who I am just as a person. I've learned, like Sarah said, ways to cope, but also ways to express how I'm feeling, because there's many times where, you know, I was feeling things, but I didn't know how to talk about it or exactly what I was feeling, why I was feeling it. And so this year I've really grown happier and grown a lot more aware about who I am as a person and what I'm capable of doing, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I can echo that somewhat. I think I've learned a lot about not only about the choices that I make in terms of, you know, what I want to concentrate in things of that nature, but also about, you know, there's not really a wrong answer there, because you you learn to have confidence in your abilities, and you learn to have confidence in the ability for yourself to learn. College is supposed to be a really difficult environment when it comes to managing multiple things and learning very difficult concepts. So if you don't like what you're learning so much, there's always another chance either to switch out of it and go to another concentration, or, you know, go get, you know, if it's ever possible, like another bachelor's degree or something of that nature. Like, there's no such thing as a wasted degree or a wasted concentration or wasted classes. These things add up and they add to you as a personal, to your person. And I think that was something that I really worried about going into an all business school, was like, oh, well, what happens if I don't like business? You know, if I don't like business, has all this been for nothing? Did I spend all this money for nothing? And I think I learned that that can never really happen. Obviously I have the good luck of saying, oh, I like business and stuff, but I think that that's one of the biggest problems that I really had in the first 2 years, is second guessing myself. And in this year, I think one of the biggest payoffs is saying, well, even if I was wrong, like, or not that if I was wrong, but like that you can't be wrong, essentially. Being comfortable in yourself and being able to say, like, oh, these experiences have made me more resilient, essentially.
I love all three of those answers. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Miss Whitley, for having them end on that positive, reflective note. I really like that question, and I just again want to say how grateful we are that you three took time out of your busy schedules. I know Xavier just finished midterms, and that sounded hectic. And what I heard in the beginning, you guys don't have spring break anymore. Is that the same with everyone? You're maybe a little bit, but thank you so much. I want to respect everybody's time. So we'll take another minute or so to see if any parents have any questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. If you don't have any more questions, you can just feel free to leave, but we'll all hang out here to see if anybody has any more questions for a couple more minutes. And thank you, parents and scholars as well, for coming out and extending the week. I know spring break starts now, so hope you guys enjoy some rest and relaxation.
Another thing is, a lot of us here are not, we're here to like share experiences with you guys, and we want to help you guys, both you as parents and us as like students. So if any of you guys ever need anything or want to reach out or anything, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody or say, give my input in something and give advice or whatever. I will I can put my email in the chat if that's okay. And then if you guys ever need anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for offering yourself up as a resource. You guys, you know, are actually just invaluable. This conversation, even small as the group that we were in, was very rich and provided so much insight and quite reflective. I think we had a really great group dynamic here. So super appreciative once again of you guys taking time out of your schedules to share out about your experiences and to just kind of reflect back over moments that were good and not so good, because, you know, each experience ultimately led you to where you are now, and is providing some really helpful insight for those of us getting ready to make those big decisions in the year to come. So again, thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful weekend and spring break if you have one, and if not, enjoy your week.
And yeah, I think we'll share this. It was a small group, but it was recorded, like Dr. Fuller said. So we'll, like Robert said, we'll share this. I think we should share it in RTW and call transitions class, just to kind of switch it up maybe one day this semester and have all the scholars here, because especially the seniors getting ready to embark on a new journey, it would be really helpful for them. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Feel free to enjoy the rest of your evening whenever you are ready to go.
Thank you guys. This was great. I was calling myself doing two things at once, and then I just focused on this the whole time. So I was very intrigued and captivated by the conversation. You guys had a lot of great responses, and I'm looking forward to, my team actually helps with career stuff. So when you get to the point where you're looking for a job or internship, same thing that Xavier said, please reach out to us too. So thank you so much.
Actually, if you want, I'm looking for an internship right now.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'll put your email in the chat then. I'll share it. We're like Miss Whitley said, we'll start spring break. So Tia and I may not be able to reach out tomorrow. So if that's the case, first thing when we get back, we'll definitely put that I'll put that on my to-do list.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
No problem.
Get you networking, Xavier.
That's
how you get it
what
done.
it's all about.
That's literally what they teach you in business school.
All of it. Just one word, network. All right.
Network.
Right.
And done.
You guys are awesome. Hopefully we'll be able to have some in-person events sometime soon for Infinity, because I know we miss having you guys come visit us, and we'd love to see you in the coming months when things get better. We'll be reaching out.
All right.